lot of um, founders. Okay, I'm sending a request so I can share my screen. And so today I just want to touch on startups and building a successful product-led startup. So I have a couple of slides, and I think I would also take a few questions when um, we get to that point. So please let me know when you can see my screen. I'm using multiple screens, so it's a bit distracting. All right, so please, can you see my screen? Oh, awesome, awesome. Someone's giving me a thumbs up. All right, so I think it's great that you maybe know a little about me. So I've tried to put in as many logos as I could put in, but some of them are not here. All right, so I'm Akwesiri Rubari. I studied elect, and I've been in the tech space for a bit, over a decade, in this tech space, building products, solving problems, one company at a time, one problem per time. And it has been an interesting experience. So I'm ex semicolon, Demos, I've done stuff in Sabi, MoneyPoint. You may know the old name as TMAPT, Datamax registrars, e-settlement, and now my current place where I play and do build digital solutions is at AKD Digital Solutions, where I lead products and project management. Oh, my spelling of project management is bad. So, and over my experience, it has given me the opportunity to experience how different products and contribute to building different products and companies. And it is not a journey for the faint-hearted. I will just say that. I'll tell you upfront. And some of the things I've done is I've built solutions across corporate internet banking, retail internet banking, agency banking, edtech, LMS, health tech solutions, supply chain, logistics, just different sectors. I've built something in all of this. And aside from personal projects and personal products. And so it's interesting how that startups are doing something innovative, right? And so it's interesting that I want to talk about startups and product-led growth. So startups and mainly building successful startups, how that startups can be engineered by having products that are indeed growing and are successful. And so something that comes to mind is I like to define terms. So why do startups matter? And you see, startups matter because they, in our economy, they bring some sort of disruptive approach to the traditional model of how we do business, how we solve problems, how we create value. They're creating value in a disruptive manner. They want to disrupt what exists, right? And to bring in fresh ideas, innovative solutions, which significantly increase the value that the customer gets. So think about it. An example that comes to mind is think about the world pre-Uber. If you wanted to go somewhere, you would have to book a trip. You would have to book a trip, and you. Oh, sorry. A call came in and is distracting me, making me lose my flow of thought. Apologies. But now think about the world pre the Uber era. If you want to go somewhere, you have to get to a place where you can find a taxi, and then you would negotiate with the taxi driver. If he does not agree, you're on the road, you keep waiting, right? As against where we are today, when you can actually sit wherever you are, book a ride, and it comes to you. Same problem, but additional value, disrupting the way value is being delivered. And that's what startups bring. Now, when we talk about product-led growth, we're focusing on how that you're leveraging outstanding products to drive customer acquisition and retention. So you see some companies spend money on marketing, spend money on several other things outside of the product to ensure that it grows. So I don't know. I don't think is anyone here that has not seen an advert from Temu in the last 3 months. Is there anybody? Those guys have spent a ton of money in marketing their product. They have a fantastic product, but then they're in a space that already has big players, so they're spending money. But then we're talking about how that your product is growing in a sustainable manner without heavy reliance on traditional marketing tactics, and also just delivering actual value through the product. So I'll give you an instance. Think about it. When we had the cash crunch period, I think that's about 2 years ago, and how that people could not get access to cash, you realize that everyone started opening an OPay account, a money point account, a palm pay account, because it seemed like when other traditional business banks were failing, these guys, their transactions always went through. Disruptive solution. And then now it is easy. You don't have to think too much. Oh, what's my account number? And you're trying to cram a number. No, your phone number does it, right? So you're seeing different points that these guys have used to harness growth, product-led growth, where your product itself is the reason why your company is growing, not necessarily because you are spending more money, but the product. So now, what defines a successful startup? I have plenty text here. Normally, I would have taken out the text, but I decided to just leave it. Because you see, a successful startup starts from a clear mission and vision. What are you trying to achieve? What's your vision? What do you envision as the end goal of this product that I'm building? What exactly is the problem I'm trying to solve? Your vision must be absolutely clear. You see, I remember the days of TeamApp being Money Point or Money Point being TeamApp. It was very clear, and the vision is very clear. If you go online and check, you see it's creating financial happiness. Then it was creating financial happiness for people in Africa or in Nigeria, and then became African. Now it's the world because they're expanding. The vision is clearer, is larger, but the vision has been consistent, creating financial happiness. When you use a Money Point product today, what comes to mind? What experience do you get? It is seamless, it is efficient, it is successful, it works. And when you think about it, you want to travel abroad, you book an Airbnb, or you want to travel even to another state now, in Lagos, you want to have maybe a party or something or wedding, you can book an Airbnb for that. So, or think about it, how that there's so many products. When someone says Apple, the name Apple today, what comes to mind is value, quality. Forget about the hype. Think about the product itself. So what I'm saying is you must have a very clear mission and vision. The vision must be clear, and the mission, how you're going to get it done, must also be clear. And then the next thing is strong problem solution fit. You see, many times people go up about with, oh, I think this problem exists, and I think this is the solution, without trying to validate that does this problem have this solution as its counterfeit, as its counterpart? Or does this solution actually solve this problem? Is this the solution for this problem? Now, does this solution solve this problem in a compelling way? It is not just enough to solve a problem, you must solve it in a compelling way. It must be strong. That is the only way you can attract and retain customers and investors. So again, when you think about the products that you've maybe built before, or you've seen companies that have failed, I'll tell you upfront, there are more failed startups than successful ones. And that is the truth. This is not to discourage you, but to let you know that if you're going to go on this journey, you must be ready for it. It is a tough one, it's a serious one, but it's also a very highly rewarding one. And so your whatever problem you identify that you want to solve, it must also have, you must come up with a compelling solution for it. And then the next one is having a scalable business model. So this talks about how that when you want to scale your business, you don't have to spend so much money. If you have to spend so much money for the business to grow, you might have issues, or you will have issues. Because what it would mean is that as your business is growing, your expense is growing. So your bottom line will be very lean. So what it means for you as a founder, as someone trying to solve a problem in a very innovative way, your business model must be scalable, right? So that you can replicate it in different places without accruing so much cost. So let's think about, you want to build maybe a sustainable homes business or whatever. The bottom line is just ensure that as you want to grow your revenue, your costs, operational costs, and all the acquired costs should not be growing significantly. And then finally, they don't talk about this one a lot, but you see, if you're going to have a successful startup, you must have a resilient and a passionate team. When I think about some of the amazing things I've done, I'll give you an example. Please, is this session being recorded? I want to be sure what I can say and not say. I'm just kidding, but okay, so I'll tell you one. So I was doing a project for one of the commercial banks in Nigeria that has operations outside, and we needed to cut over to a new product. And so as the deadline was approaching, there were new changes, significant changes that came up. That's one. And then we encountered issues with data. We needed to migrate data. So to cut my long story short, I slept in a bank for about 3 weeks. I went home 4 times in 3 weeks just to get stuff over the line. Some of the nights we looked for hotels around in VI to sleep. Some other nights it was on the floor in the bank or sitting on a chair and sleeping just to get over the line. Many founders will tell you that they will sleep in their office. It's a normal thing. So, years ago, now I probably don't do that anymore. I have a family, so I have a family to come home to, right? But 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 midnight, trying to solve a problem, trying to prepare, it's a normal thing. During the lockdown, I feel like I worked much more during the lockdown because there are times where through the night, I'm working with an engineer and he wants to sleep. I'll take turn to continue the deployments. Please don't ask me if I'm an engineer and how I continued the deployments. Just know that the deployments were done. Basically, all I'm saying is it will take a passionate and resilient team. But for you to get that, I will just tell you this upfront. If you do not have skin in their game, they most likely will not have skin in your game. They must be able to see clearly what is in it for them. Human beings are selfish by nature. So your vision must be absolutely clear. Your mission must be absolutely clear. It must be clear what you are pursuing. And then your team must be able to see their place and how they are important in getting to that point. And this must be re-emphasized every time. All right, I see my time is running so fast. Where's the time going? I'm like, I've never gotten to, it's gotten so far. Oh my. So if you're following me, please can I say a thumbs up? I just want to ensure that I've not lost you so far in all I've been saying. So So now what comes to mind next is that you need to identify opportunities. Just in case you came on this call and you've not even started building a startup, but it's something you feel like, I would like to do. So identify opportunities by one, finding the gap. See, oh, what is it that people are getting today? What is it that they would like to get? And then find a way to be that bridge between where they are and where they would like to be. That is it. So this goes to say that you need to spot marketing efficiencies where people are not getting resources appropriately and accordingly. They are underserved, right? Understanding the needs of people. So think about it. Some people find the gap, they spot the marketing efficiencies, but guess what? They still don't understand the actual needs of the people, what they actually want, what would actually solve their problems. So you go to a place where you think they are financially excluded and you are building high-tech mobile apps for people who are not educated. The reality is that you find that they will not be able to use your solution, and you'll be wondering why your startup is failing, because you've not understood their needs and understood their patterns clearly. And then also use tools to do market analysis, understand the market, understand the players. If you are going to regulated space, understand the regulators so you don't get shut down, so you don't lose all of your money. Understand what licenses you need, understand what partnerships you need to establish. You want to run a fintech, for example, you need licenses in today's market. Also, you may need to find a clean way to navigate the regulations to ensure that you are compliant without breaking the bank and without losing too much ground as well. Always research. People are doing stuff. The moment you have an idea, you are not the only person. So you must move fast. You must also find out what competition is doing and be willing to pivot. I'll talk about some of the things that kill startups if we have enough time. Now, so I've talked about that core principles in building a startup. Please let me know how much time I have left so I know how to run through this.
All right, all right.
Okay, thank you. So be obsessed about your customers. It is about your customers. Many startups, they start with being obsessed about the problems the customers have. But as they grow, they are more concerned about investors, about looking good, about TED Talks, about relocating, about every other thing but the people that they are trying to solve problems for, they're trying to build the product for. So be obsessed about your customers. Be obsessed about it. Get their feedback, improve your product. Simplicity and usability. This goes without saying. You want to build a product, don't make the process difficult for people to onboard. Design a product in such a way that it is easy to navigate. People can do what they need to do in very few steps, I would say. A simple user interface that people can interact with, straight to the point. It should be appealing, but it should be simple. And an example I have here in my notes is Zoom. Zoom has mastered it. Think about it, that if you have a Zoom account, you can join a Zoom meeting. If you don't have a Zoom account, you can also join a Zoom meeting. They're not asking you to sign up first, do some complicated stuff. They make it simple for you. Then make data-driven decisions. I'll say this once and I'll move on. Don't do orga-driven development. Your decisions should be driven by data. You want to change how people on board. Why? What's your reason? What data is, what's the science backing your decision? And then focus on user experience. You see, because I also let me balance this a bit. Data-driven decision, yes. Intuition is important, I tell you, yes. But also, at least have some data backing the decisions that you're making. And the next is focus on user experience. Focus on user experience. Give your users the best experience possible. If you're with me, can I see thumbs up again? Can I see a thumbs up again? Now, let me just touch on the MVP approach. Now, for the MVP approach, this speaks to how you build the minimum viable product. A lot of founders get burnt, literally, and burnt out because they are trying to build everything at once. No, break it down. Build build the most viable product. And this is defined as the version of the product that includes only the essential features necessary to validate your business hypothesis. Whatever problem you think you have identified and solution to that problem you think you have found, you need to validate it. Don't burn all your cash, burn all your resources, burn all the time building one complex, massive product. No, simplify it, shred the idea to the essentials and build that one only first. That's how to start. And validate it. It is that validation, market validation, that will spur you to add other features. You will understand, you will learn, you take the learnings from interacting with the customers, right? You will take the learnings from interacting with the customers interacting with your MVP version to then add to build the next set of product features, the next iteration of your product. The next thing is risk reduction. You see, by launching an MVP, you significantly lower the risk associated with product development. I've mentioned that. And then it also accelerates your time to market because you're focusing on the essentials. So it's very straightforward. You're not thinking about all the complex stuff. So think about it, for example, you want to build a house and or rather you want to build, let's say, a modularized apartment, for example. Don't think about making it like a robot that can transform from day one. Build the modules first. See that it can be modularized. Then you can think about the mechanization of it. Then think about adding AI later. Think about, you can think about it in a progressive way, but the essentials first. And then gather real-time feedback. Ensure, get feedback. Your customers say your product is rubbish. Take it. Ask them, why do you think it's rubbish? Don't be defensive. Tell yourself the truth. Tell yourself the truth. And now, scaling products scaling with product-led growth. Simple. Make the products, your products, service oriented. So users should be able to onboard themselves. They should be able to solve most of their problems themselves. It will help you scale faster. You don't need to acquire a large customer support team to be solving problems that users can solve themselves. Continuous improvements, I've said that over and over. Get feedback, improve your product. Oh, you are already in the blogs. People are already saying your product is good. Don't stay there. Move. Viral network effect. People encourage, your users are telling other users about your product, using network, using influences to grow your product. That's something to leverage. And an example can come to mind is Dropbox, Canva, Notion. We want to talk about this, but time. Let's move on. Now, key metrics to track. Now, this one is really important because a lot of founders, they don't take note of these things. User activation and retention. How are users getting onboarded? How many users are you retaining? So user retention speaks to users that stay on your product after they have onboarded, that are retained. I'm trying to simplify it as possible, right? But the text tell you the story, right? So it indicates that people are satisfied with your product and they will continue buying and staying. That speaks to it. So you need to be able to check it. Are people signing up and dropping off? Are people not buying? Are people getting stuck at the sign up stage? So you see that, 10,000 people download your app, but you have only 300 users. What's happening? there's definitely a problem somewhere. Or 100,000 people are downloading your app or visiting your site, but the monthly purchase is around 20. There's a problem somewhere. You need to do an analysis. Tools like Google Analytics, Mixpanel, Amplitude will help you filter through and see where the bottlenecks are. Customer acquisition cost, CAC. The cost, this has to do with the cost a company incurs in the onboarding and acquiring of a customer. How much you pay to get a customer. And it includes the cost, everything, including marketing, to be able to secure one customer. So for example, if it will cost your company, I used an example of $100 to acquire a customer, but that customer will be buying and generating sales of $500, then you can say it's justified. But if it's going to cost you $500 to acquire a customer, and the customer will only do a purchase of $100, then there's a problem. You need to rethink your process. And this leads me to lifetime value. This speaks to the total revenue that a company can benefit or get from a customer when they're on board in their entire time being a customer on that platform. How much money can you make from one customer? You must be able to see it. If, for example, it's going to cost you $500 to onboard a particular customer, but the lifetime value of that customer is around $10,000, then it begins to make sense. You can say, okay, $500, we'll acquire it. We know that it's huge at the initial phase, but later on it will make more sense to us. Net Promoter Score speaks to word of mouth. How referral will people, how likely are your customers to refer other people to you? And the reason is these metrics, these are just a few of them, but they matter a lot because it will define whether your product will scale or not. It will define whether you will succeed or you will fail. And some key roles to take note of in building a startup are your product manager, it drives the vision, manages engineering interaction, oversees design to say that the designs are user-centric, you're solving user problems, seeing what is happening in the market, bringing it back into the developmental process. Of course, your developers as well. You also have your UI UX designers. So they design the user interface and the user experience as well. I know I'm going so fast, it's just the time. And they also have growth marketers. These guys focus on customer acquisition and retention strategies. And then creating a strong culture from the beginning. Their founder, you define the culture of your company. If you start by bullying your colleagues, creating an environment where people cannot talk because you're always saying, I'm the founder, you will shut your company down before it even starts. You must create an environment where ideas can thrive. You can pivot. People feel like they are part of something great, that their input matters a lot, like they collaborate. So this also speaks to vision alignment. Everybody needs to know where we are going. And you must reiterate this from time to time. Excuse me. And collaborate efficiently as well. Be open to collaboration. And then I'll tell you this, you must have grit. You must be resilient. You will face, there will be setbacks, there will be this, but you must keep moving. You know, I talked about Money Points. Money Points previously was building solutions for banks, and then by the same time started the whole Money Points agency banking bit. They've done different things before they finally pivoted into becoming a bank themselves. The time is fast spent. I can't talk about that story today. Now, common pitfalls I've said, all right, I've mentioned this. If you fail to validate the problem solution fit, you're in trouble. If users are giving you feedback and you ignore them, trouble is knocking on your door. Then poor cash flow management. Now, I will talk about this briefly. A lot of founders, once you have cash, so let's say, for example, you're on this call, you have 10 million naira, and you're like, oh, I want to build a product. And you hire engineers that you're paying 1 million naira each. In 2 months, you are done for. And your product has not launched. You have not generated 1 naira. And you're wondering why you're struggling. Or you get investor funds, and the first thing you do is you buy a G-Wagon. Trouble today. You're in trouble already. So my point here is Don't say because you have investor funds, you go and get an expensive office. If a 2-bedroom is where you'll be operating from, excuse me, if a 2-bedroom is where I've been operating from and it works for you, please stick with your 2-bedroom. Grow your revenue. Let your business be able to fund its office. Let it be able to fund those necessities. Please manage your cash flow. Don't just hire the whole world. You see a lot of founders hire the whole world and they start retrenching people because they realize they're in trouble because they can't pay salaries again. And then finally, solutions. Continue adapting, continue learning, be open to pivoting. You can start out as a company producing or renting out photograph cameras. Sorry, you can start out renting out cameras and end up managing real estate. Be open to pivoting. Don't get stuck in that same idea that, oh, I must be like this forever. No, if the market is moving, move with it, move with the trends. And some case studies you can look out is Slack, you can check out Airbnb, you can check out Uber. Time is gone. So some actionable steps for you. Clearly identify a problem. Identify a clear problem. I've talked about it again. Start your research, understand the challenges, addressing the needs. Why hasn't anybody solved it? Has anybody solved it? Were they successful? What were their challenges? If they stopped at some point, what happened? So think about it very well. If this problem, nobody has solved it, why? Is it that there are some challenges? Are there bottlenecks? What is it? Do your research very well before you put your head in to start solving a problem. And then even if there are challenges those people encountered, how can I solve those challenges or mitigate those challenges? You need to be very clear. Build and test your MVP. I've talked about MVP already, so that goes without saying. The number 3 is focus on user feedback and iteration. Be very focused on it. Be very focused on it. Let users give you feedback and quickly solve those things, improve on those things, and ask for new feedback. Then scale with data-driven decisions. Use analytics and metrics to inform your growth strategy, to inform the decisions you make about your product. And then embrace resilience and adaptability. You will need it. So please stay inspired. So think about it. I said that begin your journey with a powerful mindset. There must be something that is driving you. Oh, I'm going to build a product that solves a real problem for real people. It must serve, there must be something that is driving you. Stay inspired because you will face situations where your inspiration may go. Connect with mentors. Connect with people who have experience that can guide you, that have been there, done that. They will help you. Start building your MVP. Stop talking about your idea. Start doing it. Start building it. And then leverage tech communities for support. And so I just want to say thank you. It's been my pleasure running through this so fast. And you can collaborate with me, connect and collaborate on LinkedIn, and then we can take it further. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, sir. That was really enlightening, right? You give an exhaustive explanation and training on startup building. Thank you so much, sir. So I'm sure a few of us might have questions. All right, we'll just take 1 or 2, no more than 2 questions. If you have any questions, please signify so that we can quickly take it before we move to the next part of today's session. Any questions? Any questions? All right, looks like we don't have any question. All right. Thank you so much, sir, for taking our time to speak to us about startup building. I'm sure some of the lessons we've learned here, many of us would be implementing it as we're going to startup building in Labs by Bincom for January cohorts.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Bincom team. I'm grateful for this time with you guys.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. We are hoping to call you another day.
No problem. No problem. You have my ears.
Asking if they can access the slide.
Sorry?
Somebody's asking if the slides can be made available.
Okay, I can work on that through the Bincom team, right?
All right.
So we can
All right.
make that
All
available.
right. All right. No problem. All right. Thank you so much, sir. All right. So I mean that session was really explanatory, right? For many of us that have built one startup or the other in the past, I'm sure we can relate to some of the things he has said. And for many of us who would be building one for the very first time in Labs by Bincom, I mean, these are many of the things, these are some of the things you should put into consideration before starting at all. And when I mean starting today. Starting today. All right. We've introduced ourselves. We've had our facilitator take us through what it means to build a startup, challenges you might face, and every other thing. I see some people just joining us. I'm sorry, you've missed a very important session, but that's fine. You'll catch up. So we'll be moving quickly to the next session, Labs by Bincom, right? The details of what Labs by Bincom is all about. Some of you would have questions already about, okay, what are we doing? How long is it? What does it entail? We'll be going into that shortly, right? Just give me a few seconds to share my screen. So once I share my screen, please let me know. Just say I once you can see my screen so that I'm sure we're all on the same page. Okay. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Hi.
All right. I need 2 more eyes to get started. 2 more eyes. I'm just
We can see your screen.
All right, 1 more. If I don't get that 1 more, we're not leaving here.
Hey, hi.
All right, thank you. All right. Okay, so welcome to Labs by Bincom again. All right. So let's do a brief overview of what Labs by Bincom is all about. Yeah, as you can see, it's a lab, right? I'm sure you're wondering, what are we doing in the medical space? No, we are not in the medical space, right? However, still a pre-incubator program designed to help you build ideas into MVPs, minimum viable product, just like our speaker mentioned initially, right? Your MVP is where you are starting out with. We don't expect you to build the biggest of startups yet, right? Your startup or your idea does not have, your startup does not need to have all the features that you think it should have, but we would encourage you to start with an MVP, the most important feature or the most important solution you are trying to build. Start with that first. Sorry, I skipped something. It's a 3 to 6 months program, all right, where we are bringing together tech professionals, even non-tech who are looking to transition into tech. You're also welcome to build real life products, right? Products people would use, meaning this is not just a testing ground, right? You're actually building products people will find useful. A product that will be solving a problem. What is in for you is an active program with real life projects, a virtual lab where you can own your skills. The work experience, you can use it to apply for various tech-enabled visas. You might be planning to use it for build a startup of your own. For students, can use it as a placement. And if you are a tech professional and you just want to buff up your CV, your portfolio, this is also an opportunity for you. One thing I know is that as a startup founder, you are 3 times more likely to get that dream job you've been looking for. Trust me, because they believe, the recruiters out there believe that having worked on the startup, either it failed or succeeded, you must have learned from the failure, or you can bring the success to the table for them also. All right, so who should join? Like I said, tech professionals, non-tech professionals looking to transition, fresh graduates who need work experience. You're a freelancer and you want to buff up your portfolio. This is an opportunity for you. And if you're a student and you're here, this is an opportunity for you. Well, please let us know if you're a student and you want to use this as a work experience or IT work experience, please let us know immediately, if at all. All right, skills involved, of course. If you're a PHP or front-end developer, back-end developer, Python project manager, product manager, UI UX designing, marketing, this is the place for you, right? Your skill will be needed in your team. All right, so it is important you play a major role in your team. So how it works. Basically, like I said initially, is a 3 to 6 month pre-incubator program. So I'm going to emphasize the pre-incubator program, not an incubator program, right? Not an incubator. This is a pre-incubator program. All right. And we have programs getting to know any you are also working in that. Each team will be divided, each team will have not less than 3 members and not more than 10 members at any given time. Not less than 3 members. Very right. And your goal is to solve at least one problem using or building an MVP to solve. And then the preliminary stage is divided into 4 stages, the preliminary stage, first session. Then stage 2 is the onboarding of participants, where finally you get to become to a team. And stage 2 is project execution. Let me quickly go back to stage 1. Right? So stage 1 is where you come up with the idea, come up with the product you want to do. You're not built it yet, but you have a product document or a project that details what you are building. Oh, we are sending a space shuttle to Venus, right, to bring some materials, whatever it is, and this is when we'll be building it. This is how long does it take us? These are the skills we need to build it. This is how we would make money from sending this space shuttle to Venus if you want to build a space shuttle, right? Somebody's mic is on. All right. So if you want to build a space shuttle as your MVP, fantastic, right? But detail it in your project brief or your product brief. All right. Then stage 2 is where you actually execute it. That is when you build that space shuttle. All right. Whatever you need. If you need to reach out to Elon Musk to give you some materials, fantastic. This is the stage you'll be doing all that. If you need a website, if you need an app to build an app, if you need to start creating social media accounts for your startup before you even launch it, this is the stage you'll be doing that. Then finally, stage 3, which I'll still borrow a leaf from our facilitator, real life users. Get people to test your product, your MVP, right? That's stage 3. Let them give you feedbacks, right, that you can use to improve your product. Now, it's a 3 to 6 months program for a reason. 3 months for the project and building stage, at least the MVP. Then the remaining 3 months is to get users to give you feedback, right? Give you feedback so that you can improve whatever feature you have built as the MVP. There's a reason I'm emphasizing MVP, because we get a lot of teams trying to build the difficult. I won't say impossible, to build the difficult from the get-go. No, don't try to build the almost impossible from the get-go. Build the easiest solution to that problem, but ensure it is solving a problem. All right. So quickly moving on to what does it involve? All right. Again, it's a 3 to 6 month program. You might need to devote about 8 hours from starters a week while working in your team, either as the product manager, as the project manager, as the developer, as the UI UX designer, right? You might need to devote. In fact, for the first 1 month, where you'll be coming up with ideas, you'll be having meetings, right? Most of your hours will be devoted into research, getting to know what works, just like our speaker said initially, doing proper market survey, right? Getting feedback from people, getting to know if you have competitors or some people have tried to solve that problem in the past, what challenges they faced, if it was not successful. If it was successful, how did they make it happen, right? What can you innovate, right? Most of what you'll be doing in the first 1 month would be research with your team, coming up with an idea. You would finally then decide to build. All right, we'll randomly group people into teams. So if you came here with a team member, you might necessarily not be in the same team, right? Just to put that out there. Okay. We expect the team to be cross-functional, right? You can't a team cannot be less than 3 members, like I said initially, right? I'll come back to what that means if you are less than 3 members, okay? A team ceases to exist if there's less than 3 active members. Your team is required to build a product-led digital technology startup. All right, product-led digital technology startup. All companies must be created in public domain. All codes must be in public domain. Now, one very, very important part I need to emphasize on here. While the team is in Labs by Bincom, while your startup is in Labs by Bincom, while you are building in Labs by Bincom, nobody owns the product. Nobody can lay claim on the product. All right, and here's why. We don't want any team member to go to CAC, for instance, in Nigeria, right, or any government or business registration body in any country you are in, right, to register the startup in their own name while you're in Labs by Bincom. We try as much as possible to avoid any form of division within the team. So to protect that, we ensure that nobody can lay claim while you're in Labs by Bincom. However, once your 3 to 6 month program elapses, you can decide as a team to do what you wish with the startup. It is up to you. But while you're in the 3 to 6 month program, while you are building it, you cannot lay claim and say it is your startup. All right, it is your team startup and belongs to Labs by Bincom while you're in Labs by Bincom. But once you exit Labs by Bincom, your 3 to 6 month program is done, right? The team, you can start to register it, join an incubator program like the likes of Y Combinator and the likes, right? Or Barclays. But within the 3 to 6 months program, you cannot lay claim to it. In all cases, the startup will be dissolved at the end of 6 months. Like I said, the team, sorry, let me rephrase that. The team will be dissolved, not the startup. The team will be dissolved. The startup can continue with whichever team member, or if you guys still remain together, you can start to continue with the startup even after 6 months, right? So the team in Labs is dissolved. You guys can then continue as co-founders. Yes, like I said, you can come into, so at Bincom, we have an incubator program you can join after this pre-incubator program, all right? But it's up to you, right? When we get to that bridge, we will cross this. There are some criteria that you would need to fulfill with your startup to be able to qualify. All companies must be in publicly referenced as the Labs by Bincom company, something I mentioned initially. Each team will be attached to a mentor that will guide you, right, as you build your startup. Like I said initially, there are 4 stages to it. All right. Very importantly, there's something in red that is written. Can somebody read it for me, please? Anybody? Very, very important.
Okay, it says, do not invest any idea if not wish to be in the public domain in Labs by Bincom.
All right. Can somebody else read it? Your network.
Okay. Do not invest any idea. You do not wish to be in the public domain in a Labs by Bincom company.
All right. So if you have a brainchild, something you've been guiding for the last 20 years, years, don't want anybody to steal that idea from you. It's something you feel will change the whole world, right? Probably the space shuttle I mentioned initially. All right, please don't bring it to Labs by Bincom, right? Because we don't want a situation where you feel your idea has been stolen by another team member and has gone to build it somewhere else and is making money with it, right? So as much as possible, if you feel an idea is very dear to you and you don't want to share it, please don't share it here, right? We will not be liable for any stolen idea. So please take that seriously. All stages must be completed at the stipulated time. Startups cannot be changed after stage 1, meaning once you have your product document, your mentor has gone through it, has been approved, has gotten to us, we've gone through it, and that has been approved. You cannot come back to us and say, oh, we think this product is too difficult. Let's change it. No. We are doing this to avoid anybody backtracking or anything trying to backtrack or shy away from the work that is involved. So please, take that seriously also. We have a Slack channel where all conversations actually go on, where we track each participant and each team. So please, once you get to stage 1, you'll be invited to Slack, right? We'll let you know once you're invited to Slack. And please, always check Slack. We know Slack is not WhatsApp. So I'm saying this ahead of time. Slack is not WhatsApp. You might not easily be able to get notifications. However, you can make it a routine. Every day you check Slack twice a day. Let's say once in the morning and once probably around 4 p.m. in the evening, just to ensure you don't miss out on any information. We would not entertain any excuse of you not checking Slack to miss any information that is important to you and your team. So please take that seriously. Participants from any team can be withdrawn. Yes, as much as possible, we want you to be committed. As much as we understand everybody on this call, for instance, is doing one thing or the other, and that's why we even asked. You are busy, but the truth is, if you are committed to this, if you are committed to this, you have to see it through, right? You have to see it through. So once we notice you are not participating in your team or some individual tasks you are not going through with it, and we notice that, we would flag it. And once we realize it is consistent, we would have to withdraw you from Labs by Bincom. And so it is important you create time for this. All right, don't draw your team back. Very important. So I already mentioned some of the things expected from you. All right, so I can just keep this. Or what you expect from us. Stage training, I just talked about the stages, each of the stage. All right. Okay, yeah, there was something I missed. I would handle that ahead. Cross-functional team work together as a team. At the beginning, for instance, you can take up skills that you are not currently or that you don't currently know. For instance, you're a product manager, you can start taking up skills in marketing. I mean, to be fair, if you are building a product as a founder or a co-founder, you should understand a bit of marketing here and there, right? In fact, you should be the first marketers of your products. All right. So I'm just saying that if you're a front-end, back-end developer, you might need to take up some things in front-end in case you don't have a front-end developer on your team, or you can't bring on a front-end developer. All right. Quickly, cohort mentor. All right. So let me spend some time here. Like I said, you have a cohort mentor. However, your mentor is not building your product. The team is, right? Your mentor is a knowledgeable person in startup building, but your mentor is not responsible to building your team. They're building the startup, right? He or she is just there to guide you as you build your startup based on their experience. All right. So it is important as a team, you take this seriously. All right. Your mentor will not chase you or come after you. Okay. It's important to know that. Yes. And again, we'll be tracking participation. So there are three major ways to be tracking participation, right? Just to ensure everybody's on the same page, right? So number one is the progress report. So there's the, let me quickly go to that before I come back here. All right, the Labs by Bincom Startup School. All right, so we have not Labs by Bincom Startup School, sorry, the Labs by Bincom program curriculum. All right, we have a program curriculum, which is the Y Combinator Startup School. For many of us that don't know Y Combinator, it's an incubator program, all right, where startup founders come to, go to the next stage with their startup, all right. So we have the link to their startup school, that is our curriculum, and we expect everybody here. So there's something I want to emphasize now. You are a co-founder in your team. Either you're the digital marketer on the team, or you're the UI UX designer, or the programmer, or the project manager, whatever. You are a co-founder, right? So you are treating this not as a team member actually, but as a co-founder, all right, as a co-founder. Some of us here would want to probably put in for the different startup visas out there, Canada startup visa, UK startup visa, right? This is an opportunity for you, all right? So you are coming in as a co-founder, not a team member. I'm emphasizing this intentionally. If you are with me, please give me a thumbs up, say aye, whichever one is convenient. Before I continue. Thumbs up, say aye. Just one person. All right. Okay. All right. So like I said, you have to go through this startup school individually. All right. So you sign up. The link will be provided. You sign up, right? Then you start taking the courses attached to it. All right. You sign up as a co-founder. Again, you sign up as a co-founder. It is free. So the Y Combinator Startup School is free. All right. You sign up as a co-founder, then you follow it. All right. Yes, the courses must be completed by each participant by the end of the program. Is to give you basic knowledge about startup building and all that, right? And there's a certificate that's attached to it. You can see this is a sample. Sorry, let me go back. This is a sample of the certificate attached to it, right? So I think this is really a plus for you, all right? It's something you can add to your LinkedIn profile and all that, right? It gives you more credibility as a startup founder, all right? And whatever career space you are currently in or whatever goals you're trying to achieve, I'm sure this can only be a plus to it. So aside from labs by Bincom, take this as a personal career growing opportunity, all right? So this is the curriculum. We have the courses and progress. So these are the modules, all right? Deciding to start a startup, getting and evaluating startup ideas, building your founding team. So learn from popular startup founders. I think founder of Facebook is also one of their facilitators in this course. So I'm sure you'll find one of his videos here, right? So shows the credibility this startup school would give you, all right? So please go through it religiously, all right? Again, will not take an excuse. This is one of the things we'll be tracking, right? If it is 5 minutes per day you can watch within your busy schedule, please do watch it. All right. Don't wait. One mistake many people make is they wait till weekend to start watching. Okay, I will spend 1 hour. I'll spend 30 minutes. Trust me, you're more likely not to be able to do that. Yeah, it is easier to do 5 minutes per day than to do 1 hour at a single. So if it's 5 minutes per day, I mean, you've racked up 30 minutes already by the end of the week of going through these modules, right? So please do that. So you have the deciding to start the startup. Let me just spend a few minutes here. Getting and evaluating startup ideas, right? In fact, you need to even start immediately. I'm sure this link, the link to this must have been sent to some of us via email while we were doing the build up to today's session. So if you have not gotten it, if you've not started, you can check your email. It must be done. If it is not in your email, we can always send it to you. Just let us know. All right. So we have the deciding to start a startup, what it takes, getting and evaluating startup ideas, whatever ideas you discuss as a team, right? This will guide you on how to evaluate these ideas, right? So that you do not build something nobody needs. Very important. Build something people need. All right. Building and funding your team, the core values of your team, what you guys need to know before you start to build. Planning an MVP, what it takes to build an MVP, what you need to do before building, while building, and after building an MVP. All right, can we all hear me now? Can we all hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, I think I went off for a while. Let me share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen now? Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay. All right, so I stopped at building your founding team, right? Then the next module is planning an MVP, right? What it takes, plan an MVP, what you should do before, after, and during. Before, during, and after, I mean, right? Launching, how you should launch your startup, right? Growing and monetizing, right? So once you launch and you've gotten market acceptance, right? You're getting some clients in, then how to grow and how to monetize, and how to fundraise, how to get investors, angel investors, VCs, and all that, right? This module will handle that. Then you can learn from great founders. So as soon as possible, right? Go through this course. In fact, some of these things you need to even finish them before you start building as a team. So please, that was why we sent it ahead of time, so that you can already go through it. All right. So please, if you have not started it, immediately after this evening session, today's session, just jump on it and go through it. Again, if you spend 5 to 10 minutes per day going through this, you'll finish it in no time. Right? Don't wait till the weekend when you feel you have enough time to spend 1 hour. It will not work. Take that for free. It will not work. Right? So please spend time on a daily basis to go through this. We will track it. We expect you to, it is compulsory to update us on Slack on your progress. On a weekly basis, you update us, okay, I've taken XYZ on the course, right? Module 1, and these are the videos I watched on that module 1. Right, all that, just that is needed, right, on Slack, right? We'll track that, and those are some of the things we would note, or those are some of the things we would like to see to be sure you are still active in Labs by Bincom. All right, so that's that about this. Let me quickly go back. All right, so like I said, we'll be tracking participation, right? One of it is the Y Combinator Startup School. Once a week, we expect you to drop an update, all right, on your progress on or before Saturday midnight. We expect you to drop your progress, right? Then your team progress reports. Every meeting, there'll be a team lead, right? If you guys will choose a team lead, we expect the team lead or the project manager, whoever you guys are assigned to do that, to drop a report which includes the attendance of team members, all right, what was discussed at your next meeting or next plans, right? So that we can track that also. Once we notice a particular team member is missing team meetings consistently over a period of time, we would flag that. And once we realize it becomes an habit, we would have to pull you out of groups. We will be reaching out to your mentors every now and then on a monthly basis to discuss the team's progress, right? So from there, we'll know which team members are missing or are committed to this, right? We would flag that also once we know there's a problem. Okay, let me move on. Now, spend. As much as possible, we don't want you spending a lot on your startup. In fact, we don't want you spending a dime on your startup. However, if for whatever reason you have to spend, right, the maximum amount you can spend while you're in Labs by Bincom notes, while you're in Labs by Bincom is £350 or its equivalent in any other currency. You cannot spend more than £350 or its equivalent in any other country, and this includes any marketing budget. So we don't expect you to go and hire an engineer you pay £1,000 or $1,000 per month to know, right? You can always bring in new team members in your connections if you need probably a UI UX designer in your team and you don't have. You are allowed to bring in an external person, probably a friend or somebody that believes in the team's idea, right? And is willing to join the team and volunteer to build with you and be a co-founder, right? You can always bring such people in. Just let us know about this. Like I said, we don't want you spending any money. If you have to spend, you can spend more than £350, right? And we are not providing the £350. The team would have to source for that. Okay, I think that's a bit about that. I've talked about this. All right, breakout session. We'll have a quick breakout session after this session, but come back to that. All right. So we are concluding this session. I know you already have questions, so let me just conclude with this, then we can take questions, right? So there are 3 ways to officially come into labs like Bincom, right? There's the paid membership. You can join as a delegate from a partner brand, and you can come into the scholarship application. All right. Labs like Bincom is a premium program with a basic fee of £750. All right, and you can either come in with the £750 as a paid member, or you join as a delegate from a partner brand. We have partnership with other brand. Emigrate is one of them, right? Or you apply for our scholarship. But note, your application does not necessarily guarantee you'll be part of labs, right? But you will definitely be considered once you apply. Application is very easy, right? But you'd have to let us know if you'd rather choose to apply for the scholarship than be a paid member, or if you're not a delegate from another partner. If you're a delegate from another partner, right, we would know. We have gotten the details from the partner brand. I would just cross-check from our end. Yes, I think that's basically it. Some of these FAQs we usually get are quite easy, 3 to 6 months program. You don't need to be an expert to be here, right? If you have less than 3, yes, if a team member drops out before 3 months elapse and you have less than 3 members, what happens? You can always bring in a new team member, right? We have a vast community of techies on Slack, and we have communities of techies also. So just let us know if you are in search of a team member to join you, right? You can put word out there and get people who are willing to join your team, right? You can always have a conversation with the person before you bring in the person in. But importantly, the team must agree before bringing anybody in, right? So it can't just be a decision of one person to bring in a new team member. You guys must agree as a team. Can I make the startup part of my work experience? Definitely. How will I include the information about my startup in my portfolio? Of course, whatever work you have done, you know how to do that to be in public domain. What happens after 6 months is up to you. You can join an incubator program. You can join the Bincom incubator program. You can decide to just leave the startup and say you've learned from the experience, you've added it to your work or portfolio, and that is enough for you. That's fine. Or you can decide to continue building, bootstrapping on your own, which is totally fine. All right. But any which way, at the end of 6 months, we would have to dissolve the team officially in labs, right? Meaning you might not have access, you will not have access to the mentors officially, except if these mentors decide to work with you independent of us, which is also fine. Can labs like Bincom be regarded as a school internship? Yes, just let us know. I don't know anything about startup building. Yes, that is why you are here. Who will fund the project? I already spoke about this. So this 100K was when Naira to dollar was fair, but now it's more than that. So can we upgrade our startup to the incubator level? Yes, I already spoke about that. Right, but when we get to that bridge, it will be crossed. So I would like to entertain questions. I'd like to entertain questions. Are there questions? When I finish a presentation and I don't get questions, there are two things. It's either I over-explained and everybody understands perfectly, or I under-explained and nobody understands anything. So which of the two is it?
Good evening, sir.
Hi, good evening. That's Olale Kweka, correct?
My own question is, how are we going to have idea about what we are going to build the startup around? We can't just maybe pick any startup from anywhere. Maybe the idea, Sha. That's what I want to ask.
All right. That's a very, very good question. All right. Now, that is where research comes in. Okay. Look around you. What problems do you find around you? Right. What problems do you face on a day-to-day basis? What problems do you think a majority of a target audience, the majority of a particular group of people face and are looking for solutions to? Yeah, so do some research, think about it, work together as a team, have conversations, talk to people, right? And ideas will definitely flow. We'll do something like that before we leave today. All right. So yeah, you can get ideas from that. Later, once you officially come into labs, we have an idea bank we can share where we have documented a lot of ideas you can go through, right? But don't bank on that, right? It's a plan G for you. We expect you to come up with ideas together as a team by proper research and, of course, looking around you for problems you typically face on a daily basis. Was I able to answer your question?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right, fantastic. Who wants to go next? Any questions? All right, Nick Udo. You can ask your question, Udo.
Good evening, sir.
Hi, Udo.
My name is Aniek Kanodo.
Fantastic.
So my question is, in the case whereby, like in this case, you are not choosing team members. What if some team members are not like willing to? Let's assume here we can go on to build products that are related to different industries like agriculture, healthcare, or stuff. So some team members are not willing to go into maybe agriculture if some members there's this kind of differences. Some members say okay they want to go to different. Is it this possibility of reorganizing the team or reshuffling the team to ensure that okay their ideas match the industry they want to go into?
All right, thank you for that question. Very important, right? So when it comes to team, right, one thing which we try as much as possible to promote in Last Life becomes teamwork, right? Everybody has to work as a team. So nobody brings an idea and feels, oh, my idea is, yeah, your idea is fantastic, right? However, it does not mean your idea would be what would be built. All right, let me put it that way, right? Your idea might not be used. Have that at the back of your mind. Remember, you're working in a team. You're working together with other smart people like you, right? So be open to your ideas being rejected, quote unquote, right? But be open to other people's ideas, right? Be open to other people's ideas. So that's what I would say, or that's the way I will answer that question. Be open to other people's ideas. Don't always feel my idea has to work or my idea must be chosen. No, right? In fact, once you come up with ideas as a team, we expect you to come up with about 2 to 3 ideas from various industries, right? Then reach out to your mentor, right? We'll set up a meeting with your mentor where you will discuss these 3 ideas. And with your mentor does not necessarily give you an order to choose a particular idea, right? But based on their experience, they advise you on the ideas to choose or the particular idea to choose. Or you have to even present more than 2 ideas to your mentor, right? You guys have a conversation internally, come up with 3 good ideas you feel would really work. Discuss with your mentor, right? And finally narrow down on one idea. So that's the typical method, all right? So, but again, like I said initially, you're working in a team, be open to new ideas. Whatever idea you feel you had in mind, bring coming to labs, it might change. Does not necessarily mean that idea will be run with your team, right? So please be open to new ideas. Did I answer your question, Udo? Did I answer your question? I hope I did. I hope. And in case you want to bring in a new member, you can always bring a new member, but just please let us know while you're in the process of doing that. Okay, any other question before we move on to the final stage? Any other question? All right, so quickly we'll be doing something now, right? We'll be dividing, let me see if we have to do that one. Okay. Okay, so what we'll be doing now is we'll be doing a quick brainstorm session. All right, we'll be dividing the group into 2. And what you are required to do is to discuss problems around you. problems you feel tech can solve, right? If you have more time, you can come up with an idea to solve the problem. If not, just tell us the problem you think tech can solve around you, right? You can decide to pick one or two problems, right? So that was what we'll be doing in the next 30 minutes. Come up with ideas, come up with problems. Of course, get to know each other, network, get to know each other, then start discussing problems around you feel tech can solve. All right. And if you still have time to come up with a solution, do come up with a solution to the problem. And when we come back to round up, would have probably 2 to 3 minutes for each team to share this, and we can round up for today. Do we all understand that part? If you understand, say I. All right, no. Who else? All right, again, let me go through it again. I'll be creating a breakout room now. That's the last session for today. I'll be creating a breakout room now. I would assign out, so we have 2 breakout rooms. That's 2 teams, right? So once you join your team, you are to, 1, get to know each other, about 5 minutes of doing that, right? Networking. Then secondly, discuss within yourselves problems. Now, we are trying to give you an opportunity to start discussing ideas, right? Discuss problems around you. Oh, I'm a developer. I need a tool that can solve this problem, right? This problem, I have this problem as a developer, and I think I need, or I'm a project manager. At my workplace, there's this particular problem, and I feel tech can solve it. What kind of technology can we adopt to solve this problem? So something like that. All right, that's the conversation we want. Then after that, if we have time, we can think of the solution. Then we'll come back in 25 minutes, actually, right? So each team gets to present whatever problem they've discussed, and if I saw there's a solution, then we can pick it up from there. Do we all understand now? If you understand, say aye, just to be sure. Nobody is speaking.
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, so I would assign everybody to their rooms now. So please join your room immediately once you're assigned. All right, so I've opened rooms for people to join. So please join your room. Please join your room. I'll come back after 25 minutes. So you're coming back by exactly 6 p.m. Joe's, JOOS. I don't know what that is. Can you hear me? Chidi Amadi, you have also not joined your room. Is there a problem?
I can hear you. I joined, but I don't know what happened. I just found myself there.
Let me try. Let me see if I can move you. I can't move you, so you have to join yourself. You can go out and come in again.
Okay.
You can go out and come in again.